Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to Around the Comiverse episode 48. We got your boys Crypto Rain, we got the real Randy Chavez, Queen Vivi, and a special guest, Mark. I don't know how to say your second name, Mark. Can you please tell me?
It's like a win with an H in front of it. It's like win.
Mark Win. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Mark Win. Before we dive into everything crypto, Omi, and Vivi, I'd love to know a bit more about your story and how you got into Vivi and Omi.
Yeah, for sure. I actually got in to OMI first. I was doing a lot of stuff with Bitcoin and Ethereum with my friends. He kind of helped me set up like a mining rig at my house, and we did a little bit of mining and stuff like that. Nothing crazy, but I eventually found the OMI token that was tied to all these things. The potential for Pokemon was really big. So as you guys can see in my background there, I'm a big Pokemon fan. And yeah, it just kind of like just snowballed from there. Like I found the Vivi app tied to the OMI token. Got to listen to a little bit of Andre Jack talk about the OMI token. The famous Impulsive podcast where OMI was a wagon, right? And yeah, just dove into Vivi from there, and I bought my first collectible. My first drop was the Mermicorno, the ultra rare Mermicorno. I remember trying to load that app over and over again, trying to pick that thing up, and eventually got two of them. And yeah, just continued from there. And it was it's been fun. It's been fun just collecting stuff and trying to complete sets. I'm a big set collector. I have a lot of sets in there, and my mindset behind that is eventually taking them into the Viviverse and being able to have all the pieces to kind of create scenes and things like that. So.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, it's really good to hear your past and your story. It's so funny. I think almost all of us here found Vivi through Omi originally. I think pretty much all of us. Queen Vivi, did you also find Vivi through Omi?
I found Vivi through my husband, who found it through Omi. So.
There we go. Yeah, Omi is the gateway drug.
Queen Vivi, is that the dragon from the Never-Ending Story behind you?
That is.
This thing?
Yeah.
No, it's Star Wars. It's the thing
the Tauntaun.
The Tauntaun, yeah.
Does it have a hole in its belly?
No, it's a whole rug.
No, that's the one that goes through the cave bear thing that almost.
Yeah.
I'm the mother of an only child, so he's got all kinds of shit. I borrow it.
That's great.
Yeah.
But he got a good washing today, so
Nice.
And have you guys all been enjoying the market this week? Crypto Rain, how's your portfolio looking?
Well, good. Some of it, right? So Miria has gone to the moon, and some other blockchain gaming things have taken off. I don't think this is the bigger run yet, so probably at some point there'll be a pullback. But just for people that haven't been in the space for a long time, sometimes it's nice for them to feel this kind of run, even though it's only gone like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5x, a few things 10x, depending on what it was, just so they can believe, because they just haven't experienced this before. So the bear market tends to really beat you up, and a lot of people lose their belief that anything can change. And we do have this thing where we think it's called recency bias in psychology, and we figure that what has been happening is what's going to continue to happen. And in markets, it actually plays out the opposite of that. So we've had this terribly bad bear market for 2 years going down, and people want to believe that it'll change around, but they almost can't. And then they see a little glimmer of hope. That also means that people that are in the tokens that haven't gone up start getting super enraged. And we've seen some of that too.
Awesome. Just going through some of these comments here. We had a good one here. Randy, do you want to take this one?
Oh, sure.
Do you think we'll get this bull run?
I mean, I guess when I say we'll miss this bull run, I mean, the bull run is not just going to be for like 1 month and then it's over. It's likely going to be for 18 months, give or take a quarter or two. I'm not going to say we're going to hit absolutely everything before the bull run, but I do think we get a couple of things before the halving. And then as that happens, again, you know, the Bitcoin will go up first, then ETH, and then the rest of the alt. Like even saw today when you had a bunch of money leave Ethereum for XRP because of the fake news that XRP is getting a ETF filing. So clearly, it goes from, you know, the big to the small. But I would like to see two to three catalysts by the end of Q2 of 2024. Likely bronze tickets, likely OMI to accessory, and I'm hoping OMI to gem. But obviously, you don't want to go on exchanges without any utility, or else it's just, you know, kind of pump and dump. So I would say we get several exchanges before the end of the bull run, a couple before the hype, maybe one or two during. But again, that's just my prediction, and that it can obviously go insanely wrong in both good and bad ways. You know, could be pleasantly surprised, or it could be a little more delays. You know, we don't know.
Awesome. Yeah. It's going to be really, really interesting what happens. Let's see. Got so many comments here. It's going crazy.
It's a little touching on what Crypto Rain talked about too with recency bias. I think like the sentiment for the token is based on of what's recently happened, right? Like you've seen the rest of the market run up, and then you see OMI kind of not moving, if not moving down. But just a couple months ago, we had OMI go from 0.0006 to 0.001, right? And how quickly people forget that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we definitely had a little bit of a run up there. Let's see. Do you guys? I know Rain, you've got some Kopi. Is that right? I know Doctor Stuff does.
Yeah. Kopi was one I made some big investments in, a ton in their land, a lot into their token. And so Kopi has been an interesting one that it actually has never done all that bad. They decided to build within their Cardano community, and Cardano's community is pretty strong, kind of like the Veve family. And so a lot of the Cardano community, like if they had just launched in the ETH community, they probably would have got punished like all the other projects that launch in the ETH community. But because they were kind of the biggest fish in the Cardano pond as far as blockchain gaming, they've actually done pretty well considerably. I mean, I think their market cap bottomed out at like 18 million, but most blockchain gaming startups, they bottomed out at like 500,000. So they've done, they just haven't hit the lows. Now, some people are really excited about that. I personally get really bummed about that because I like buying really, really cheap. And I wouldn't mind if Kopi dropped to like $1 million market cap, because then I could load up more cheap.
Who's super is that? Is that yours,
Yeah,
Randy?
that's me. Thanks, Bill. You the man. And yeah, Avatar. I don't know who there's I think 2 ultra rares and a secret rare, or a rare ultra rare and secret rare. I don't know who the secret rare character is. Obviously know the first 2. That's, you know, the 2 main characters, the love interests. But the secret rare characters thing that you could fly on, I'm not sure who that is. The way they kind of advertise at first, like, oh, get your own one to bond with. Like, oh, cool, we're gonna get just our own, but then it's theirs, and that I don't know. I kind of wish it wasn't their characters dragon things. I kind of wish it was ours. So this way, you know, it's ours, and we're not kind of borrowing somebody's. But yeah, I want to see the mints on it and the money. I mean, I think Vivi's done really well with kind of knowing what we want. You know, like the Sesame Street ones that we had recently were 5,500 and 4,400, and now the next one, you know, Big Bird is going to be 3,200 between both rarities, and they've lowered the price from $60 to $40. So most likely it's going to be like maybe a maybe $40 drop. I can't see them being too crazy because they are kind of 3 of the same thing. So I don't think it'll be a crazy amount of mints. But so yeah, I'll probably get them.
Have you guys seen the second movie?
Not yet.
No, me neither.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
How's it compared to the first one?
It didn't have as much of a storyline.
Yeah, the storyline's shorter. It was decent. The other one set such a high bar. Just lower your expectations by at least half, and you'll be like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so I think the biggest idea is that like the first one had the new concept, right? Like it had the idea of, you know, he's projecting into the avatar through Wi-Fi or whatever it was. And the second one, there's nothing new in terms of that sort of aspect. It's just more about like the tribes and more about the sort of the culture and the land and stuff that happens there. It's definitely interesting. It's a bit weird at times. It's got some very strange scenes. Definitely quite a bit of violence. I think probably a lot more violence in the second one than the first. But yeah, it's probably worth the download or the watch. But I wouldn't have gone to the movies to watch it if I knew how good it was. I think. But yeah, it's
Fair
all
enough.
right.
Sweet. I'll have to watch
I think
it.
they're doing a third one, right? And they're going to lose money on. I think he's losing money in the second one, and he's going to do the third one and lose money in that as well because he really wants to do it. James
I
Cameron.
think they had things for like 5 movies planned originally. I don't know if that's been changed at all, but the first one did so well.
The second movie still did really well.
If I'm wrong, though, those are still the 2 high. Well, my husband had told me earlier that Avatar's the highest grossing movie
The first one
ever, and then the
2.9
second one's
billion.
like the 3rd highest grossing. So
2.3.
Oh,
that's not a bad we're getting.
Oh, so it did well, did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Avatar 1, and then Avengers Endgame, and then Avatar Way of the Water is number 3.
Right.
I didn't know that. Yeah, so when I first saw it, I think it didn't do very well the very first week, and I saw it the first week it was out. I didn't look at any stats since then, so I guess it picked up. That's good.
I hope the Marvels can do that. They did god awful this last,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed that. And I'm really hoping we get some Marvel 90s from that.
Oh, you saw it? You saw it, Randy? How was it?
Oh yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I understand why a lot of people don't love it, but there's a lot of hate. Queen Vivi, you didn't like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, the cats. Okay, all I'm gonna say is the cats made the movie. That's all I'm gonna say.
The cats are great. They
made
used them in a way I wasn't expecting. They're fantastic. But yeah, I don't know how much I can trust your judgment because you didn't like Five Nights at Freddy's, and that was amazing. A lot of fan service.
What would you guys put it on the same level as in terms of other Marvel movies that are out?
That's hard. Because there was it helped out a lot if you did watch the other stuff, like if you saw WandaVision or if you saw the Ms. Marvel series on Disney Plus. So I feel like a lot of people didn't really watch those, which is a shame because I really enjoyed them.
Yep.
As far as other level, maybe like Ant-Man 2. Like it's fun. It's got like an Ant-Man Guardians fun feel, but it's just not as epic of a battle, and it's a little silly, and sometimes the silly does go a little over the top. But I still love it.
Awesome. We've got a lot of questions about what is Kopi. So Kopi is cornucopious metaverse built on Cardano. Rain, do you want to explain more?
Yeah, it's essentially a video game, but they're backing into this idea of the metaverse, which if you think about it, if the video game is really good and it's kind of like a MMORPG, then wouldn't that essentially build a metaverse in and of itself if you have people interacting with each other and able to be on the same servers? And we've seen 2 big metaverses come out and raise huge amounts of money, Sandbox and Decentraland, and big names buying huge amounts of land and other investments into it. And really, they don't have a user base because it was like, let's build this huge big thing and then everyone will just come on and hang out and talk. But nobody comes and hangs out and talks because it's boring to be there. So maybe they'll be able to fix those. I don't know. But Cornucopias is building a game with interactions and things that you can do and that you can make products and sell them. And so there would just be things that people are already doing and lots to do. And it may end up being the first successful metaverse by default.
Awesome. And so I just noticed this comment. And Mark, is that your secret rare Spidey in the background?
Yeah, it is. So I have it kind of set up to an Apple TV, and it's streaming. And then I essentially this is a TV turned sideways, and then I have a frame that I got kind of to match around that. So it's essentially a digital picture frame. So I put all my NFTs on there.
That's awesome. So is that a GIF or is that actually like?
I just have the video on loop. Like I did like a screen recording of it. So.
Oh, okay.
I know Veve was working on their own like frames at one point, right? I know you saw that decon, Randy.
Yeah, they had them. They showed them, right?
It's like a digital picture frame.
Yeah, I saw them. Yeah, I didn't see them in person, but I saw them online. That they had them. They were small though. They weren't anywhere near that big. They're pretty small.
Yeah, that's a flex.
Yeah, but are they going ahead with that? Anyone know anything about the digital photo frames? Sort of went quiet.
They were supposed to have a partnership with someone that already did it, but again, that was like 2 years ago. I don't know what happened with that.
Interesting. So it's not just me that thinks the Way the Water wasn't anywhere near as good as the first. But it's crazy that it got third place in the world for the biggest grossing movie. It just must be a lot of marketing, right? And the first one was so good, so a lot of people wanted to
Yeah.
see it because of that.
They probably have a huge fan base because they waited how long for that movie? Like 10 years,
Like
something
12
that?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a cult following, like a
Yeah.
full-on cult
See, so
following.
that's the thing with Vivi. We'll just wait 12 years. We'll be great. Everyone just shut up and know me.
It's pretty cool looking at this list. So in the top 10, we have Avatar, Endgame, Way of Water, Titanic, Star Wars, Avengers, Spider-Man, Jurassic World, The Lion King, and Avengers. So the only thing we're missing out of this top 10 on VV is Titanic. That's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Interesting.
If you could put Leonardo DiCaprio in augmented reality without bringing women to buy it.
I'd buy it.
Depends on
Only
how
if I'm wearing
interactive
my
it
meta
is.
suit, Rain.
What's that?
Only if I'm wearing my meta suit.
That would do it. All of a sudden, the female conversion to VV use goes like through the roof, and there's 99 women to one man, all because of the Titanic IP.
Oh,
I like Titanic. Titanic's good.
It was all
yeah,
right.
Titanic
Right.
would be
I mean-
interesting. They could have like the artifacts, like the door and the ship.
The floating door on the water, animated.
I want the lady that's just like, it's been 84 years. I want that meme. I don't know if anyone's seen that meme. Where it's just like, I don't know, my kids when I ask my kids like the last time they ate, like it's been 84 years.
That's funny. Oh, I also heard people like always they watch the movie and they're like, there was so much room on that door. He could have lived.
I think he could exactly. Like I don't know.
That
It's
maybe
would
the
be-
door
awfully floaty with just her
Yeah.
light body on it. Like
Maybe
I
the
feel like you
door
could-
would have sunk and they both would have drowned. Who knows?
I think someone did like a comprehensive breakdown of if he could get on the door and everything like that with the measurements based on his
Yeah.
height, him standing next to the
Adrian Film
door.
Theory.
Yeah, I saw that. And he
And-
totally
What
could
was
have
the
survived.
conclusion?
He totally could have survived.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Just because he could have fit on the door, like he was still in freezing water, I still think he would have succumbed to hypothermia and ammonia, whatever else you can get. Like she barely survived, and she
It would
wasn't-
also wreck the movie ending. So he has to die.
Well, survival of the fittest. If he was too dumb to figure out they both could have survived, well,
It's
Yeah,
true.
that's true. That's
It's
true.
true.
Yeah.
You did not deserve to reproduce.
if he couldn't figure buoyancy of a door.
I love the fan theory that says like, oh, he actually did survive, but he wound up on an island, and then the island was in what was that movie that he did with the dreams?
island.
Oh, the island. Oh, it wasn't the dream. Yeah, it was just the island. Like all the Leonardo DiCaprio movies are just in the same universe.
Inception.
Yeah,
That's a great
Inception.
movie. Really good movie.
See, Mark, this is what you get.
Yeah, we
It's
just
all
muck
good.
around.
I'm always in the comment section, so I see it.
Yeah, I said, yeah, Mark, you're a real good pal. I always see you in the comments. I see you supporting everyone.
100%. Dude, it was nice meeting you guys finally in New York Comic Con. It was awesome too.
Yes.
I'm so
how
jealous.
many Iron Men do you still have?
I have 4 sealed left.
All right.
And I'm gonna be driving down to the States like early December to pick them up. Fingers crossed on that secret rare. I actually put in I won an auction for a secret rare, so I have a physical secret rare that's in the US right now, and I just need the gold one to get all 5.
So wait, you want an auction for the secret rare physical or the
Just the
NFT?
physical. The NFT one is a little out of my price range right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But you might have one
I might, yeah.
in one of your boxes.
Yeah, you have 4 as well, right?
I have 5.
5, okay.
I have one sitting here
Oh,
calling me.
is that one gonna get open today or?
I'm thinking it might. I'm thinking it might by the end of the show.
Ooh, are you gonna
yeah.
open on a stream? That'd be cool.
Yeah, I have it. Like he took all the tape off it, so it's just sitting there and it's boxed.
Imagine if it's a secret rare number 1.
So you
Oh,
probably
dude.
keep looking at it, huh, Lori? Like the tape's off of it, it's ready to open, and you're
It
just like,
is. It is.
"Oh."
I don't even know why we've been waiting. I'm telling you, I feel like the longer I wait, the better chance that I have of getting the one, which is totally illogical. But like it hasn't been opened yet, and there's 15,000. So in my head, my odds are way better now than they were now that half of them are cashed in.
Yeah. I mean, you are essentially putting a hold on happiness though, because if you do have it there and you just like you could have been happy for like weeks by now. You could have been singing in the rain, and is that what you want, to put a hold on happiness?
No, but right now I still have hope, and hope springs eternal.
No, she likes the
True.
mystery. She likes the
That's true.
mystery.
Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah,
that suspense
hope
is
is
like, yeah, it's all
That's
part
why-
of the blind box experience, right?
Yeah, it's like it's not over yet. Like those people that just like rip the band-aid off, and I got all these like, okay, and now it's over. I still have hope inside of me, Randy.
that's a good point. Hope is definitely
Yeah.
worth a lot.
So I
I
can
think
spread it out, like
Yeah.
get a hit here and
And plus, you
A
have a
hit
better
here.
chance now because Doctor of Stuff opened all the comments, right? So
My two friends in Australia, they opened up theirs. They have two, and theirs were common today, and they were both 3 digits. So even if you do get a common, there's a couple of 2 digits left.
see
And,
my odds just keep getting better.
yeah, well, that's what we like to hear when we have the ones sealed.
Plus, I mean, they also mentioned that you would have to redeem your code at a certain time.
Yeah.
And I think myself and Magic and Alex were on together. I'm pretty sure because they had mentioned that. And, she had IM me. She's like, that ruins my plan. I'm like, yeah, I was going to keep one unboxed too. But now I don't think you want to do that if you have a timeline for those redemptions.
Yeah, it's like September 12th next year. So
Yeah,
you have a
so
whole
it is.
year
So
to
you
do
have you have a year.
Yeah.
So
The thing is,
Yeah.
I think there are some people that have messaged me and said they're going to keep theirs sealed forever. They're just going to forego the NFT and just burn the NFT.
well, what if they have the number one though? That's 40K.
Yeah.
Don't
It's-
do it.
And like, will that go up in time
You
if
got
the
the
number
Randy?
one doesn't reveal itself? Then you could start selling your boxes. I don't know.
Sunglasses.
Almost
Club.
like that briefcase thing that Howie Mandel, was that his name, that he used to host, and he opened a different briefcase.
Oh, yeah. Deal or no deal.
Deal or no
Deal or
deal.
no deal, right? And so it's all the, all these ones get open and they're not secret rares. It's like the value of your unopened one does go up. But if somebody opens up a bunch of the secret rares, the value goes down.
Gone. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll
I think
see.
last I
It's like
checked,
those
there's
people do that with those basketball cards, right? Like the rookie packs, and where you don't know, but there's like a 1 in 200 chance you'll get a Michael Jordan rookie out of this pack. They pay like $30K for the like crazy amounts just to,
well, that's what happened with the ring, right? For the Magic the Gathering, where that one chase 1 of 1 ring, like as packs were getting opened, less like the packs were getting way more expensive down the road, right? Until someone
Yeah.
pulled it.
Yeah, good point.
Crazy.
So
Yeah.
I still have hope, and so we'll see.
When I was like 10, my dumbass, like I always bought Pokemon cards. I never really bought baseball cards. And this guy, he sold me. I remember Tri-County. It was like a flea market. He's like, you see, you get buy these Pokemon cards. Why don't you get, these 1980s baseball cards? You can have Barry Bonds rookie card in here. You don't know, it could be worth thousands. I'm like, it's $5. Yeah, I'll do it. And of course, it wasn't in there. But then my mind thinks that, just because the cards were from the 80s doesn't mean that it was made in the 80s. Like they could have taken a bunch of 80s cards. And so I eat the gum that's in there, and it was just rock hard, and it was one of the most disgusting things I ever did. I like that day Chavez learned to not do that again.
Buy more Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Mark, do you have a holding of Omi?
I do. It's finally caught up to my Vivi account. Like I was kind of all in on like Vivi at some point. Like just for reference, I know my Vivi account is public. I have about 338 sets for Vivi. And I gain about 5,000 points a day. That's my my idea is that the MCP points are going to be very valuable in the future.
Awesome. So we can basically work that out just roughly.
Can
guess.
you Keep that DL.
Is the 5,000 points a day? Is that including the OMI you have staked on there, or do you not have OMI on there?
I guess yeah, that does include the OMI staked on there. So
Okay.
yeah,
And staking full amount on there?
full amount. Yeah.
Okay. So you still have like 4,500 points a day, which is still heckin' nuts. Still,
Yeah, I get about 800 points now. I'm still just a master collector. I think I'm at level 37 now, almost level 38.
nice.
But it's cool having that OMI in there. It made a big difference for me. I went from Diamond 2, I think, to Master Collector.
Yeah.
Nice.
My train of thought behind that is that the points are supposed to expire after 6 months, and the number that matters the most on your account is the daily gain, right? So that's kind of my train of thought there.
Yeah. I'm up to. Well, I have all the OMI staked on there. I'm up to 1,600, but if I didn't have the OMI on there, it'd probably be just like 1,000, maybe a little less.
Do you guys want to talk speculation? I saw a transaction recently. Did you guys see it? It was something like over 1 billion tokens move into the Veve wallet inside the Veve app, I believe. Someone tracked it.
Is the Veve Rank 1 wallet, is that belongs to, so obviously it belongs to Veve, but what wallet is that? Do you guys know?
I'm not sure about that one, but this is something to I think this is layer 2 OMI, which means that they could be potentially gearing up for that OMI button, the buy button in the web app. That would be so cool.
I don't think that it comes this early, but yeah, that'd be great.
It might take a few
I don't know what
months
else
to test it.
they could be
Yeah,
doing.
it might take a few months to test it out and stuff.
That's possible. Yeah, they could just be testing.
I think they need some sort of license or someone or third party on board to help them out, like MoonPay or whatever.
Yeah. Do they need to? What type of license do you need to be an exchange? And do they need to have that license in order to get OMI on the web app?
I think they need to either have a third party exchange do it for them, or they need to get the license to be an exchange. Pretty sure something like that.
I feel like that'd be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, they'll probably just get a third party because they'll take a small fee and it'll be still easily worth it.
Yeah.
Because buying OMI right now buying OMI is pretty difficult, as you know.
Wow. That'd be wild.
What exchanges, Randy? What exchanges can you buy OMI on in the US?
Bitforex, and then Coinbase Pro wallet. You can swap on there, same as Uniswap, but Bitforex is what most people use.
Can you use
in Canada? They use Ascendex.
Can you use OKX in the States?
They can't use it.
Oh, so it's one exchange.
Much. That's why. That's really, and like US is the biggest crypto people. Like they, I think US own like 90% of all crypto. Some high stat like that.
I didn't know that.
It's a very high stat.
USA.
We need more exchanges in the US, so that'll really help out.
We're number one.
You can use MetaMask as well, right? Anyone in the world can use MetaMask.
Yeah.
So MetaMask can't be stopped. So that's the other alternative.
Do you guys do you guys have access to KuCoin as well? Like KuCoin and Binance? Are you able to buy from there as well?
KuCoin recently will not allow people to trade that haven't KYC'd, and if you're in the US, you can't KYC. So.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
It used to be fine up until about a month and a half ago. Oh snap!
What is he?
Whoa!
That's the ultra rare, right?
Yeah. Did you just open that?
I just opened it.
What? That's a 1 of 350.
Yay!
Wow. That's a good one. What's your mint number?
I don't know. It's in the box. My husband said keep that on the floor. People will take it, and I don't know. So I had to just pull it out. It was calling my name. It's like, Lord.
That was such a stealthy open. We didn't even know you were doing that.
You should get your husband to do the NFT.
I will. He should be home momentarily. So.
Oh, Thomas said hi.
I will.
Me and Lori's husband, we text each other our workouts every morning now. We're homies.
Oh,
nice. Rough, man.
Nice.
How long does your workout go for, Randy?
So the mornings if I do it, I just do cardio. Just like ride the bike. Which it goes for like 20 something minutes. I'm really, really out of shape. But the workouts, like in the weights, like that usually lasts about 2 hours, depending on what I do.
And my husband's a huge fan of yours too, Mark. He's always talking about you. He's always like, ask him. He's the other, but he knows a lot about Pokemon. So, he's
Oh, that's
you
awesome.
know, he's
I
always.
didn't really get to talk to you guys too much at the New York Comic Con. So
I know it was it was craziness, but
yeah,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to connecting at the next one for sure.
Next one, I that'll probably be New York again for us. I don't think we're gonna do the California decon or the San Diego, so we probably won't do another event until New York.
Could be Vegas, Decon Vegas.
When are we gonna have decon Vegas? I'll just go to Vegas for the hell of it. I
Alex-
don't even need a reason.
It'll be next year, most
Alex
likely.
tweeted that it's going to be in Vegas next year for Decon, or I guess
Yes.
Decon is going to be at Vegas.
Really?
Yeah,
But they're always at the end of the year anyway.
Yeah.
So we still wouldn't see you until New York Comic Con anyway, if that was your.
That's
Unless you, but you did just say that you would go to Vegas just for the heck of it. So you can't take that back.
Yep.
Oh, I won't take that back. I mean, get some. Yeah, I'm always.
What happens in
I'm always
Vegas
up
stays
for
in
it.
Vegas.
yeah.
How can you say no to Las Vegas? I mean, there's
Good
food,
time.
there's gambling, there's it's
I'm hoping we get like a full on VVCon next year or the year after that. You think?
So did you guys see what Vivi tweeted like an hour ago? It
No.
was they just said, oh, hey, it's been X amount of years since Fantasia, and they, listed, obviously the Magic Mickey NFT, and then they linked to something that says, hey, here's like 15 things that you might not have known about the Fantasia movie, and it's from the D23 website. So
Oh,
they've never
Oh.
done that before, and to link something to D23. Maybe that's a hint that in the next 10 months we go to D23. I think that would be heckin' awesome.
and you know what? They did also announce too, Randy, that there's going to be Avatar Land in Disney.
Yeah.
So they're very they're definitely coordinating with them for marketing, etc.
So I'm very, very excited. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Paris.
Yeah, it was the where'd it go? Yeah, the Transcendence 1940 Fantasia released, and then it links to the D23 website. So that was very exciting.
I remember tweeting Alex last year asking him about D22 this year, and he says that they're in talks. Nothing's confirmed though, so I could definitely see them being at D23. That'd be sweet.
Can't wait.
Interesting. So, Mark, do you hold any other cryptocurrencies? Excuse me.
I have Bitcoin. I have a little ETH as well, but I'm on the Randy and Jordan train.
Just all in on Omi. Woo!
Yeah. I just
So-
I think it was an article I read somewhere about putting your eggs in one basket and it being like the strategy for the people that have gotten successful or something along those lines. I don't know if Randy, have you seen that?
So I don't know if you're being facetious with that or not, but I almost
think
always
he
tell
is.
people to never do what I do. But that being said, Warren Buffett's got a really good analogy on that, saying like if investing is like being a baseball hitter at bat, well, okay, let's look at the comparisons. You can be like you could have a slugging percentage of like 700 if it's low and inside, or you could have a batting average of like 135 if it's high and away. But if it's high and away on that top right corner and you have two strikes, you have to swing. But for investing, you can wait until what you know is coming and you have a really good chance of knocking it out of the park. So that is a strategy. I don't, like I said, I would almost never recommend anyone do what I do unless I knew they were at least half as crazy as me. And that's very hard to do. So
But Randy, you've
that's
done that
just
every
kind of-
time, right? You've gone all in on something like every
Yeah.
time. I did the same. I did a Tesla stock. I did a Bitcoin. Well, I'm not quite all in now. I was last year. Last year I was all 100% OMI. That was it. This year I'm now 50% OMI, 50% other cryptocurrencies. But I put more than 50% of my money into OMI. It's just down. So I'm 75% of my money into OMI. that makes sense?
That's what
Um,
I was seeing there, Harish, in the comments there. I think it was Mark
Yeah.
Cuban that said diversification for idiots.
Yeah. So Warren Buffett actually made his money through going all in. I don't know if you guys
Mhm.
know that. I've read a few books of his,
insurance.
and he's actually, these days he's like, get an ETF and spend 30 years putting a little bit more money in and all this crap. But that's not how he got rich, right? A lot of these people, they teach methods for getting rich and wealthy over 40 years, but that's not what they did. So he went all in on a couple of stocks. I think it was actually just one stock, really. Ray,
So
do you know more?
I have a different opinion on that. Although if I was going to go all in on any one crypto project, it'd probably be OMI. But the benefit of not being all in, actually, we've kind of seen this last few weeks, because when you're diversified across like projects that you research the crap of, so don't just throw it at like whatever for quote unquote diversification. You want to throw it into narratives that you believe in. And I like some different narratives because they don't run all at the same time. And so when certain things are going up, that allows me to harvest them and roll it into what I believe in that's still down. And so blockchain gaming has run up the last few weeks, and it's like, cool, let me harvest some gains from that and roll it into what's cheap. Oh, great, OMI's getting fudded like crazy and people feeling very impatient. Okay, let me buy some more OMI. Thank you, everyone, for being so impatient. And Warren Buffett also said the stock market is a method by which money changes hands between the impatient to the patient. And haven't we seen that, right? People are like, oh my gosh, nothing's happening with OMI. Crap, sell. And this happens every bear market. And it usually happens with some of the best gems.
Awesome.
I don't know about you guys, but that's the sentiment I've been feeling this whole week on Twitter. It's like
It's
that's
pretty
been
rough. It's
yeah.
pretty rough on Twitter at the moment.
Especially
Yeah,
Greg
a lot
Russell
of
on
FUD,
that.
right? And I was around last bear market, and it was the same thing on some projects that later did absolutely phenomenal. And people just get impatient, feel like it should happen by now. They feel like the team should spend $100 million to really push their thing out. And most brands are smart enough not to advertise during a time that nobody's paying attention. And what I'm waiting for is the greater bull market. And some people are like, yeah, but OMI's going to miss the bull market. It's like, are they? Are they really? I don't think that they are. And they say, well, what if this isn't done by then? And it's like, you're going to see projects that have not even a viable game go absolutely crazy, because that's what happens in the bull market. So I don't know how OMI misses the bull market. Now, does OMI miss having utility ready for the bull market? Could be further utility, because they have a tiny bit of utility, and it's just the tiniest fraction of utility. Hopefully there's more utility, but remember last bull market, they had zero utility, other than you could put the tokens on the app, but then you couldn't withdraw them, and that was kind of broken. So like that didn't stop OMI from pumping tremendously. And it's crazy when Bitcoin goes crazy and other things go crazy, people just come in and start throwing money. And Veve has one of the most developed apps out there and one of the best digital. They lead the digital collectibles space. And so like, how would it not do well in a greater bull market? People are saying, well, it's not doing well now. And it's like, it's not. So you get to decide, are you going to decide that you're an impatient hand and sell into the hands of those that are patient, like myself? Cool. Like, we're all big boys and big girls here. We get to make our own decisions. Fine. I don't have a magic crystal ball. I can't guarantee that OMI is going to do well in the future. I just really, really, really like my chances.
Awesome. I'll definitely agree that I seem to be maturing as an investor now in terms of crypto. After diversifying, my portfolio is up $120,000 if I don't look at OMI. So just ignoring OMI, because OMI's gone down almost the exact same amount.
Yeah.
But I know that's temporary. So I'm just going to count that as my portfolio going up $120,000 at the moment.
It's only human nature to feel that type of way when you see everyone else going crazy and you see your one token going down, right? And people are obviously going to take money from the OMI to buy into these coins that are running up. But the thing that I like about Veve and OMI, and that I kind of see is David, like the visionary behind the project, right? he's able to understand. He understands collectibles, and I was lucky enough to kind of run around New York Comic Con with him, and for just like a couple hours. And let's just say we didn't wait in any lines because he's just hella respected in that collectibles community, right? And it's just so cool to see the pull he has there. And I kind of like I'm gonna compare it to Apple because you know, you have Steve Jobs and how he did all these things that people disapproved of or laughed at, and just seeing what Vivi has done during this bear market, them like continue to gain IP, continue to build. It reminds me of when in I think it was 2005. You guys know Gateway Computers? It's a company. They had 118 retail stores, and all those stores ended up closing down, right? And in that same year, Apple decided to open up 115 new stores, and everyone, all the billionaires and millionaires were calling them crazy. You guys are dumb. Retail is dead. It's all about online, and like now it's like they've created this ecosystem and experience around the Apple Store, right? And it's become so much more than just a store. So I kind of feel like David understands that so well, and he has such a big pulse on the collectibles community that I don't, you know, that's how I see it going.
Yeah, I see, you know, if you believe in the concept and the idea of a digital collectible company, this is your best place to be. I mean, with the IP that they have, the direction they've gone, etc. I mean, granted, can it not work? Can the concept not get adopted? Can nobody want to, you know, it can happen. But right now, to me, you know, this is the best investment long term. And, you know, I hope we don't miss this, you know, bull cycle. But even if we do, does anything really fundamentally change? You know, are people, you know, are there companies out there that are doing, you know, that they're in jeopardy of losing to, et cetera? I mean, they're still looking like the forerunner now and long term. And, you know, I kind of feel that way about some of the cryptos, like some of the safer cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum, you know, and unless, you know, crypto pretty much fails, you know, they're going to remain there. They're going to be the standards there. So I guess that's kind of how I look at Vivi right now, and OMI down the road is they're, you know, they're leading the pack.
Yeah.
Now if it doesn't catch on, nobody wants to be in metaverses, you know, whatever. Oh well, we lose. But, you know, they've pretty much done, in my opinion, everything they've said they were going to do on the Vivi side.
Yeah.
OMI side, you know, yes, it's been a little slow. It's been a little hesitant, but there's a lot of legal things, a lot of regulatory things, and I'm okay with it. You know, even if we have to wait. Now, if I started seeing things fundamentally change and they started going backwards and, you know, they started doing crazy things and, you know, that might change. But for now, you know, given the product and what we're, banking on, you know, they're the best game in town, you know, as I remove assets from Recur today. Side note.
An OMI bull, you're just not recognizing reality, and it's done nothing but go down for a year and a half. And so if it's gone down for a year and a half, it's just going to continue. And I'm going to roll all my money into things where the excitement is, which is code word for I'm frustrated, I'm tired of waiting, I'm going to sell when it's down to roll into things that are up, because that always works out. Yet that's actually, I've seen a lot of comments by people doing that exact same thing. And I've seen that before.
And I'm sure it's
every
frustrating.
once in a while, it does go well for people that do that. I've even done that myself because I was once new to crypto. I do not do that anymore.
Yeah.
I like this comment we got here. So go ahead, Randy. I was just going to say that.
Well, agreed with John M. I think they reached a $90 billion market cap, didn't they?
Yeah, 90.
Yeah, it went hard. I think Simple Plan said it best, where they said nobody wants to be alone in the world, from their song "I'm Just a Kid," and it's rough when you have, an investment and it's not doing much, but also the other investments that other people have made, they're all really happy and they're celebrating, and you can't celebrate with them. Yep. So a lot of people's feelings, they get the better of them, whether it's the limbic system, they want to be accepted, they want to be, part of the group, and they sell what they have a lot of times at a loss, and they go, and they say, "Hey guys, I bought this." Like I distinctly remember after I think Pepe did like a 300x, and then somebody's like, "Guys, I'm selling all my bags for Pepe," and like the likes and the comments, like, "Yeah, yeah, get it, get it." And I was like, "Oh my," and I think that actually did run up a little bit more for him, but I've seen this so many times where people go and they sell something that maybe they shouldn't, and they buy something that also maybe they shouldn't, just for the likes. I've seen it like on Instagram, buying like a car. There's this one dude I knew that had a first edition PSA 10 Charizard. It was like 8 years ago, whenever the price was like $20,000. He sells it for $20,000, and he's living in California, like $5,000 a month, and he sells it, and everyone's like, "Oh, great sale, great sale," and then that did nothing but go up, and he definitely squandered that within a couple months. Because again, when your lifestyle is, yeah, it's really hard. It's really frustrating to see people do that. But on the opposite end of that, you have a bunch of people that maybe this is their first time in stuff, and VV does have all the big brands. I saw a trailer for Ghostbusters 2 recently, so I hope they do some more Ghostbusters stuff. But it's a lot of people are lonely, and the VV fam is really fun. And except like I don't think I have a bad memory of New York. Maybe the hangovers, and I kind of flipped on the toilet one day. But
we're risking though. I mean, and that's another thing. People forget it. Then they take it for granted. Every penny you put into the stock market, every penny you put into, crypto, especially crypto, it's a risk, high reward. If you want safety, if you want to guarantee, go to your bank and get, 1.5% interest a month. If you want, an absolute guarantee return. And I mean,
even then it's not guaranteed.
It's still risk.
yeah,
That'd be collapsed all
up to a certain amount of deposit, etc. But I get the frustration, but it's not a right, to make money. And I'm all for making money. I hope we all do well, but it's also just not a right or an expectation. I mean, you're taking a risky investment, and you have to either be patient if you have a good one, or you lose it a lot of times on all kinds of things if you're not careful.
Oh no, just VV Magic's comment real quick. It's like, I have a bad memory from New York. It was nothing really that had anything to do. It was just a VV after party and shaking a groove thing, and then her knee just popped, and it just, oh yeah, her knee it got destroyed. It was like swollen immediately. I think she needed surgery. But then she says, like, worth it. Yeah, and so it had nothing to do with like the VV fam. It was just,
Unfortunate,
unfortunate series of circumstances that led to her never being able to play in the NFL. I guess I don't know.
Mark, do you want to take this one?
Chances are out now, so no one's going to pick her up as the running back for their team.
What drops do you guys want to see this Christmas on VV?
I think David's hinted to in the last interview that we're going to get some music. So everyone just jumps to the conclusion that we're getting Mariah Carey, right?
Taylor Swift, right?
Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift have a Christmas album?
Mariah Carey has one of the biggest of all time Christmas albums.
Michael Bublé, Mariah Carey.
That would be cool.
I think y'all are forgetting My Chemical Romance with All I Want for Christmas Is You song.
I did forget that one, or I didn't know about it. One of those two.
Although, so speaking of Taylor Swift, what's gonna happen? And I'm sorry to like hijack this, but he's gonna be in Deadpool 3. Dazzler or Lady Deadpool? Dazzler, Lady Deadpool. I mean, her comics already, running, like the common is like $12, which doesn't really happen to commons. Yeah, we can talk about that, or you just go back. Just curious. You brought up Taylor Swift in my mind.
Then you might went to Taylor Swift, yeah.
Because everyone in VV seems to love Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she's killing it. Like, I think this tour made her a billionaire, right? From what I read.
She's most definitely a billionaire.
Yeah. And I think she had her star power is insane. Like, I think they were talking like if she did half of the countries in the U.S. or sorry, half of the states in the U.S., then it could take the United States out of a recession or something like that. Something along those lines.
That's hilarious.
I've never, so I don't, I mean, I remember Michael Jackson, in his later years when I was younger, but I don't really remember anyone else that's done this, that's had this star power. And obviously, if you go on TikTok or anywhere else, everyone's like, "Oh, well, Michael Jackson, all time." And do you guys remember? Was there anyone else that was maybe before me and Mark's or Jordan's time that had the star power of Taylor Swift?
I don't know. Because of social media, I think she's just so much bigger than even Michael Jackson got to, because it's just like an unfair competition. He didn't have TikTok and other things that could have really taken him much bigger.
Probably Elvis.
Yeah,
Elvis, which was somewhat Europe and the US, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing's worldwide because there was no internet.
Yeah.
Beatles were huge for worldwide, given that I mean, television was somewhat recent and stuff. So Beatles in their time was as big as Taylor Swift is now, but Taylor Swift is just bigger worldwide because of the reach of social media.
The other thing to consider is there's multiple more billion people in the world now than there was like 30 years ago.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And more money too, right? And as some of the economies have come around, like China's economy 30 years ago was complete trash. They moved away from true communism. They went to actually more of a fascist system, which is, hey, we're going to try this fair or this free trade. We're going to allow businesses to own, or private entities to own businesses, as long as they do everything the government tells them to do, which is actually just fascism, which is just like communism light or socialism. And, it does work better than straight communism does. And that's what brought them out of a terrible, terrible economy into the world economy. So China has way more money than they did. And Hollywood has noticed that. So are the stars, because they make a lot by going there.
Yeah.
I just want to address this comment. We've had this multiple times now. People worried that Omi's going to miss the bull run. If you guys look historically, the actual peak of the market isn't until about 18 months after the halving. So that's like 2 years from now. So do you think in 2 years from now we're not going to get all the OMI utility? I think we'll probably have all OMI utility rolled out within 2 years.
Yeah,
it's like kind of a moving target. The last peak was actually, well, it had a dual peak in that, but a lot of the things like DeFi and stuff ran just in March. Only the metaverse stuff, and then Bitcoin ran up a little bit higher in October. But most of the stuff peaked out in March, which was only a year from the previous halving. And so it could be that this coincides with the halving. It could run much earlier. So the pattern doesn't repeat anywhere near exact. And it seems like things move up from when the halving was. But it was such a weird peak last cycle that with the dual peak and the metaverse, like Facebook changing their name.
But because of FTX literally dumping Bitcoin, right? His what's her name? His assistant or whatever was telling people on stand in court that she was told to sell Bitcoin to dump the price of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if it wasn't for FTX, we would have had a new blow off top, and all of crypto might have run even more, and we don't even know what price Bitcoin would have got to. So I feel like it was very artificially destroyed last cycle.
Yeah,
this is also the longest
being cut short. Is it allows actually the next cycle to be bigger?
Yeah, this is also the longest bear market that we've ever had, right? Was it that?
Yeah, I think so.
The last one felt very long too, just like this.
Okay.
Because I looked at somebody doing all the charts with all the different days, and the amount of days between the total bear and the total bull. And from the halving to the next halving, all the days are almost identical in terms of where the Bitcoin peaked. But Rain's right, not all of crypto ran as much the second time, but Bitcoin still got a high just. But yeah, like I said, if it kept running, who knows how many other cryptos would have kept going, and we would have had a different, it would have all looked very different if FTX didn't collapse at that time.
Yeah. FTX was manipulating a lot of things. There was a company that were using Alameda Research, and they were providing liquidity for some new companies. This only came out because one company, Alameda Research absolutely destroyed them, refused to sign a non-disclosure in return for millions of dollars so that they could talk about what Alameda Research was doing. And so they were doing a lot of harm to the market. I don't know if it's just bad actors, naivety, or intentional. to hurt crypto and work with Gary Gensler. It's all weird to me why he was the only person in crypto that could meet with Gary Gensler all the time, and he was the one person making some of the most severe bad actions in the space. Weird. Is all I'll
Yeah.
say. I don't know if it adds up to anything nefarious or it's just weird coincidence.
And CoffeeZilla just released a video on him recently. I haven't watched it all the way through. It's 50 minutes. Have you guys seen that?
Wow.
On
They're
Sandbox
trying to
3?
reboot FTX too, right? From what I heard, is
I
that
don't know if
true?
they're going ahead. They talked about it a few times. I don't know if they're going ahead with that.
Because that spiked the price of FTX quite a
Yeah,
bit.
it did a
too.
3x, right? It did like a
Yeah.
3x or something in
yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
I want to quickly respond to this comment. Mo Collections says, "You can't wait to see all the social media attention of Veve Collectibles when the Apple Vision Pro releases, because that will look amazing because there'll be nothing
Yeah.
else like it, right?
Yeah.
If we get Veve inside the Apple Vision Pro and you can actually, I don't know how they're going to screenshot it though, some sort of screenshots of what it looks like inside it, like that could go quite viral because
You might be able to see, like, record what you see inside your Apple Vision Pro and then stream that as a video, right?
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's cool to see like the direction that the whole like mixed reality VR space has been doing, because like Meta went all in on kind of like the virtual reality, and now they've switched over to the Ray-Bans, which have the AI and the little camera in there, and they're also focusing on mixed reality now too. And so I think mixed reality has a really bright future ahead of it for sure.
Yeah, straight up VR, it's just too impractical. Going in a space that is like safe, you can't hardly move around because you're going to walk into walls. That the practicality on that's just too low. I go to the gym and there's this guy playing like Beat Saber or whatever with the headset on, and why he's going to the gym to play that, I don't even know, other than he's like 65, 70 years old. Maybe he thinks he's going to get some young girl come up and ask him what he's doing. I don't know, because like if I had one of those, I'd just do it at home. But
he might just be trying to get out of the house.
practicality is so low, and I was thinking about that. I was like, that's so impractical.
Well, I mean,
even
if he's got,
the MetaQuest 3, my husband sent me a picture of it, $650 on sale. So
yeah,
I think we're gonna end up getting one of those. See how that
that'd be pretty sweet. Like it makes so much sense for me for coming from like the collector space. As you can see my back wall, there's no more room for me to put stuff. I want to collect more stuff, but physicals is just, especially with the 18-inch Funkos we just got, there's like no room for them at all, right? And to me, like the whole AR space just makes so much sense. You have a buddy come over to your house and you have your stuff all displayed around your house and it's geo locked into that spot, and then they come in and they see your collection. You can switch it up super easy, and yeah, it just makes a ton of sense for me.
Randy's been rugged. Oh, there you are, Randy.
oh yeah, sorry, I missed the last bit.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, Mark, definitely a really, really cool thing having it all digital instead. And yeah, like if you have digital devices to display it, or
then you can have it rotate, right? So you can have these different screens and you can have them all rotating, and you can have way more that you can see, or you can just put it in digital stuff behind you with a green screen and just have it showing.
Yeah, and if everyone, like, imagine if everyone walks around with those Ray-Bans. It's a lot less crazy than a giant headset, and that Ray-Bans just show in your house everything you've got there. Maybe you have to give someone access so when they walk in the room, they get to see all your stuff.
Yeah,
but that'd be pretty amazing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You could have a secret rare Spider-Man on your shoulder, just like sitting there and flipping upside down.
I have a little Pikachu on my shoulder.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, they have these Nreal AR glasses. I think it's the company that makes them, and I did see someone on the plane using them, and they said that they were able to see a 100-inch screen in front of them, and they just look like they're wearing regular glasses and just looking forward.
Wow.
So just
awesome.
just thinking about that, and the last NFT craze we had like people do pop up NFT museums. Just imagine if they just rented out a massive warehouse and kind of curated it to how people would see stuff in AR. Put on those glasses and do like a walkthrough interactive experience. That would be so sweet.
Yeah, like the world's going digital, right? It's much better for the environment. It's quicker. It's instant. They don't get damaged. There's a whole bunch of reasons why they're creating gloves now where you can grab things and touch things that aren't there. So you got to push, and there's pressure pushing against your fingers like you're holding a cube, or like you can pick up this. Eventually, you'll be able to pick up your collectible and you can feel it and roll it around your hand just like a proper collectible, like you can. it's going to be like, why would you go for the physical when you can get it instantly now and display it wherever you like and never have any damage? And there's so many benefits to it.
That's what Queen Vivi was talking about with, Leonardo DiCaprio from the Titanic, and like, you need more than, the girls want more than just gloves for that, and that will go
Instead of
absolutely.
suit. A suit.
Have you,
It's that,
you guys have all seen what's it called again?
Ready
The
Player
movie?
One.
Yeah, Ready Player
Yeah,
One.
he orders it in the metaverse, and then he picks it up in the real world, and then I think the girl runs her hand over his chest or something like that, and then it lights
Yeah,
up in
that's
the real
awesome.
world. Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah.
I've seen some people testing that. I watch a few VR channels, and there's some guys. I think maybe VR Woodley was one of them, and it was Tyler Woodley, and he was testing out one of those full suits. So they're like they do exist. They're still sort of prototypes and experimental, and you need to get whatever you're using the app to interact really well with it, or else obviously it needs to know where to make sensations. So they do exist already in some form. And I think that one's trying to make that the one he was showing. They're trying to make it mass market, and if these become mass market, it's gonna be amazing. Obviously,
would love-
nothing beats real life, but you can get competitive with it.
I think we're off from that whole technology. But
RL. So, so
It
I wanna hear what
is
Randy
looking
has
that
to
way,
say.
but it's going to take a while. I think it's going to turn out more like that video game. What is that video game where he's a character inside the game, and they put on the glasses? The users put on the glasses, and they can see more, and then the actual like bots or NPCs don't
Was
have.
the Ryan Reynolds movie?
Yeah, the Ryan Reynolds
Real life guy or something?
Oh yeah,
I forget what it was
the
called.
free guy.
Free guy. Yeah.
Free guy, and I think it's going to be more like that, right? And you can download certain games, and then you'll be able to just see things other people can't see as you walk around. I think it'll be something like that, and of course, companies will want to monetize and put ads as you're walking around, say New York City or whatever. You'll be able to see all these different ads that aren't actually there.
Yeah.
So the gaming stuff that I've played on the MetaQuest they're okay. When that really gets good and people want to see you play it, like I see a bunch of people on Twitch going out and playing Pokemon and playing the new Mario games, and on TikTok, but I don't really see anyone on TikTok or Twitch playing like Beat Saber or anything really like that. When that gets really good and you can get, what was it, like CSGO, one of the video game awards that it has like 100 million viewers. Oh man, what just happened here?
you okay, Randy?
We can still hear you.
Also, I'd like to say there is actually a few people that do.
I don't know why I did that. Is that better? Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
I think the CS:GO, or one of the big video games, has like 100 million viewers as their like world league. It might be whatever it is. If you can get that, if you can get some really cool gaming that people want to see on not just headsets but VV, that would change the game. Change the game right there.
Yeah, we're still in such early days. This whole idea of digital collectibles is somewhat new. Most of the world isn't aware of it. It hasn't gone massively viral, and it can be hard being patient. A lot of people, you're seeing them lose their patience. They thought they were going to come in and become multimillionaires in a shorter time frame than what is realistic, right? And they don't understand the cycles, and they're screaming at the company, if you could do this, if you had done this, the price would be way higher. And it's just not how these things usually play out. Could the company have made better decisions? Yes. Are they making pretty good decisions overall? I think they are. I hold them to a different standard than a lot of people, apparently, because I don't know, I was in the business world and business consulting world for quite a while. So there's what you would like to have happen, and then there's realistic of what can happen. And I feel like given that, they've done a pretty good job. They've made some mistakes, and every startup does. And you hope that you don't make mistakes so big that it crashes and ruins your startup, because everyone does make mistakes. And I feel like they've corrected course and done a pretty good job overall. And they're positioned to be the #1 digital collectibles market and provider in the whole space, in a space that will probably go ballistic in the coming years. And people are just losing faith. This happens in the bear market. This is the money from the impatient changing hands to the patient, isn't it? Because that's what I saw play out last bear market. And it sometimes surprises me as it plays out this time that, wow, gosh, another one bites the dust. Oh, well, like it just happens.
And a lot of people always say that. I think the regulatory excuse is like the excuse that Veve always uses, but you got to remember that Veve works with like hundreds of different brands. They have to have them on board with all these things. You know, all the contracts have to be hit. Like I think David said in an interview, if he leaks something early, he gets fined like $1 million or something like that.
That was on our interview here.
Yeah.
I caught that.
Yeah, and I think like just to have like the idea and then the time frame to actually push it out, I think that's also forgotten about too, because I think someone that's pretty well versed with the blockchain like a year and a half ago sent me there's going to be a 50 mint Iron Man, because they minted that a year ago and then they only implemented it just like a month ago. So it took them a whole year to push out that Funko drop, right? Yeah. People have to be realistic with their timelines with a company like working with so many brands.
Yeah, and the brands take so many different approvals, and people wish that, you know, we all wish that the cryptocurrency regulatory environment in the US was different than it is. I guess all of us, but Elizabeth Warren, wish that it was different than it is. Some of that stuff seems to be getting straightened out by US courts. In the meantime, most companies are smart not talking a whole lot about their token. And if you don't understand that, it's not like you're a bad person or anything, but you just don't understand why you can sink your whole company by when you're in this type of environment with a regulator that's trying to take out any crypto companies they can. So you would just be completely unwise and a bad fiduciary if you're leading a company like this, running around talking about your token a whole bunch. And I've seen some people make the argument, why are they talking about OMI? Other crypto companies are. OMI has some of the biggest brands in the world. Trust me, you know, Gary Gensler would love to get additional trophies to hang on his wall. Yeah. And he would love a company that's dealing with such big brands to make slip-ups so that he could go after them and have another victory behind him.
Yeah,
so
it's a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it would be very dumb of them to go around and OMI, because Gary Gensler's trying to make the case that every crypto altcoin is a security, even though that's very different from the arguments he was making before he was head of the SEC. But now that he's head of the SEC, for some reason, he wants to declare all altcoins a security that he can and win the argument. So companies are wise not to make it easy for them to win the argument. You make it easy if you're the CEO and you're talking about all these things you're going to do for the use cases for this token to increase the value. Because that was one of the prongs of the Howey test, and one that sometimes cryptocurrencies fail on. And if they fail on that, it's good, because then that means the SEC has a weak case to say that it's a security.
Laurie, we got a little question from Mo Collections here. Did Al Khan ever expand on, and David, you on what the big drop will be at the end of the year? I'm guessing you didn't get any alpha they can share anyway.
I don't know. No, I never said.
She doesn't kiss and tell. Not literally kiss, but she keeps secrets well.
I don't know. She spends a lot of time with Al.
Al's my buddy, but you know, I know nothing about nothing. Randy, what are you doing now?
Well, Sleepin said hi, and Jordan brought it up, so I was, giving him my excited meow face.
Sleepin released a video recently on because Sleepin has a good business background. He's a fantastic person for people to follow as far as reasonable expectations, and just his background is so invaluable. It's rare that somebody who has a YouTube channel that talks in the crypto space has such an amazing business background. So anyone who's not following him, you're missing out. He's got fantastic insights. So all we really are in crypto as investors is we're early stage venture capital investors. And I know a lot of people that come in the space don't realize that's what they're doing, but that's exactly what they're doing without realizing it. You're investing in the very early stages of companies that may fail and may not. We have these weird cycles that about every 4 years, because of what happens with Bitcoin, the entire market seems to run harder than it should and then reverse harder than it should, which I like those aspects about it, because 4 years for a market to top out once every 4 years is an amazingly short cycle. So here we are in the middle of the cycle towards the downside, and people are getting impatient, don't realize that they're early stage venture capital investors, don't realize about the market cycles, and complaining about if the project only did this, their token would pump, even though most other things aren't. And they just don't yet know what they're doing. And they also don't know what they don't know. So it's okay if people are new in business or don't understand these cycles. Tune in to people like Sleepin. He has an amazing business background, consulted with a number of businesses, run a number of them, and learn. Because the way you really make lots of money in this space is learning to become a savage investor that can wade through the crap, wade through the FUD, and see real arguments, if there are real arguments that you should be concerned about, and wade through all the dumb arguments. Realize when I invested in Axie Infinity for 18 months, the prices went down, and almost everyone who invested at the same time as me dumped at lows. And then it went 100x from what I had purchased at, and I sold and took profits. And gosh, it went another 30x from there. I felt dumb because I sold too early, but I definitely didn't sell when everybody was fudding and it was never going to survive and nobody even knows Axie and it's the worst project ever and blah, blah, blah. That's all that stuff was being said last bear market. Same stuff you hear about OMI.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back into the Comey's Telegram channel, people weren't sure that we were getting an app. Like people just like, oh, they're just talking, just babying us on Telegram so we don't like sue them. And then the app came out, like, oh my God, wow, there's actually a product here, and with amazing licenses. And I mean, I know that people are like, oh, hey, I've seen some arguments, most of them silly, saying like, oh, they should stop all drops until they do this, till X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not press your advantage? Like when Mark brought up the Beatles before. When Beatles came back from their first tour in the U.S., what did they do? As soon as they got out to England, they recorded their next album and pressed their advantage. You don't take the main bread and butter of Veve and just cut that off. That is suicide. That is retarded. So I would say Veve's doing exactly what they need to do. I would say this is the way that they're making money more so than any other competitor that they have. This is what they should keep on doing. And they've grown the team by a lot. You can't grow the team if you're not making money.
Yeah.
So this is perfect.
Yeah, they should stop making any money until the bull market comes. That doesn't make good business sense, and no business would do that. And for those that are worried, like there is a real concern. What they're really getting at is like, wow, all these other stuff comes out, and the old stuff is less likely to pump because all this new stuff comes out. And that is true. And that's just the way it's going to be for an app that produces all these collectibles. And you'll see that some of the collectibles don't really increase in value over the next 20 years. And other ones massively do. So realize if you're just buying everything, then I hope you're buying them because you love them. Because if you're buying them thinking everything's going to go up in value, there's a slight chance that happens. But I'd say the better chance is some things don't even hardly go up at all. And while other things that are really desirable go up massively. And which of the collectibles will go up massively? Well, that's what you're trying to make educated guesses about and figuring out the reasons why it might not, and making your own guesses. Right now, I'm not buying a whole lot of collectibles. Why? Only the stuff that everyone's kind of forgotten about, like Boba Fett and Darth Vader. Nobody's talking about those collectibles anymore, yet it's, one of the first Boba Fett's and Darth Vader's on the blockchain, definitely the first on Veve. And so I love that everyone's forgotten about them. And then I'm buying the OMI token because it's massively down. So I'm not buying as much on the app right now.
Rain, it's funny you said that. You mentioned that people are like, let's not buy anything on Veve. There's actually people on Facebook, on the Facebook Ecomi group. I'm not sure. It must be an unofficial. I'm not sure if it's an official one. but there's people like trying to start a boycott. Let's all boycott Vivi to help Omi go up. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Don't you want Vivi to have money? Like, just I'm not saying buy everything, buy the things you like, but it makes no sense to completely boycott them to somehow get the Omi token to go up. That just it just sounds like backwards rationalization.
But to me, Rain, though, that like that's the perspective, and that's where they said it was going to go. You know, some people say, well, this didn't sell out, this didn't sell out, but they always said from the beginning, you know, you're going to get to a point as a collector, you're not going to buy every single one.
And you won't even be able to buy every
you
single
know,
one.
you
and they said
shouldn't
that.
be able to buy every single one. And that's kind of where that, like, I mean, I remember David early on being like, you know, you're not going to be able to collect one of every, you guys just aren't. Like, remember we thought we could have one of every comic and like everybody, and you just can't do that. So when they don't sell out every time, to me, that's a maturation, you know, like a maturity process where, you know, you're going to go through it. And in a healthy market, you're going to go into VV on the things you like. And, you know, maybe skip it for a week. Maybe you're a Star Wars fan. You just, you know what I mean? So, you know, I don't think like if they're not selling out, that's a bad thing. I think we as collectors too are starting to realize, okay, wait a minute, we can't have everything. And, you know, we're going to be selective on the things we want and don't want moving forward. And, you know, that's only going to get more prevalent the more they produce, right? I mean,
Yeah. And that's just how it goes in the physical collecting world too. Like it's all dependent on what collectors want, right? Like there's like a felt hat Pikachu card that was released on the website, and they made over like 100,000 of them, and they're going for $200 each, and they were free with a purchase of $20 or more, just because of the demand of people that want it, right? So there was an interview that I just saw recently with David. I think it's actually an older interview because he mentions at the end that Happy Tree Friends is releasing this weekend. So it's an older one, but he talks about like Vivi. His vision for Vivi is to the masses, is to the people, is to the collector community, right? Like the people that are true fans of it and not buying for an expected profit right away. And I think that's where the miscommunication is between the crypto people and the collectors, right? And I think with how I see like the collectors community grow in the last couple of years when it comes to like cards or games and VHSs, like it's been insane. Just like I go to this card show every single month, and the amount of people there that are just dealing with like they bring $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 of cash and are doing transactions in person. It's ridiculous. And that's just the fan base behind it, right? And I think Sean posted up something recently with a pack of Jello with like a baseball card on the back. Current bid is at $16,800 for a pack of Jello.
Sean always finds that stuff. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You remember when Twinkies went out of business, and then
Yes.
people that had the Twinkies boxes were like selling them for like hundreds of dollars?
Yeah,
good times.
We got a comment from Mike here. People's community with their logic is just mind-boggling. If we either want our OMI or VV masses to go up, we should be buying as much as possible and not FUD every second of the day. Probably true. Sounds about right.
I think that's one of the most serious posts that Mike's ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had some really good whips the other day, but I think there wasn't enough time. Especially with when we had David on as well.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what have you been collecting lately? Anything
on the app or in real life?
Yes.
Just still purchasing Pokemon cards here and there and trading and stuff like that. That's my favorite part of collecting, is being able to go with your collection and see other people's collection and do that trading. So
yeah,
I'm really excited for that to come to VV. And yeah, like I'm not really collecting anything specific. I'm going after some of the comics that like are grails in the real world. In the collector world, like you have to have multiples of stuff to sell to get stuff that you actually want, if that makes sense. So when people, sell shame people for posting the floor or getting rid of some of their collectibles, it's still like they have multiples so they can chase what they want to get, right? Because we're not made of unlimited money, right?
Right.
But yeah, like I think a lot of the things on the app right now are pretty pretty like I love these prices right now. Like, and I think like you can't go wrong with Spider-Man and Miles. That's
Yep.
I just posted this to a group I'm in, that Spider-Man 2, the video game,
Mm-hmm.
just got nominated for like a bunch of awards. So they got best narrative, game of the year, best audio design, best game direction, innovation in accessibility, best action adventure game, best performance. Like Spider-Man just can't lose.
So
Mark,
you
do you play
mentioned you're a comic guy. Are you a common gang or are you a secret guy?
I'm trying to get like all the Grail secret rares. Like I have Marvel
Okay.
Comics #1, I have
All right.
AF-15 secret rare, I have uh a couple of like the main Grails, but for the most part, usually what I try to do is diversify my collection a little bit to optimize my MCP points, which is right now the rares. The rares give you the best return for points. So
Randy, do you have Pokemon envy right now? Do you miss the action?
Yeah, mostly I do. But that it just when I was doing that, having two businesses and then YouTube and then girlfriend on top of that, I was just so burnt. Like I had not a lot of sleep. So I miss I miss two things. I miss the artwork. I miss looking at, even if it was like my fifth first edition PS10 or fifth Shadowless that I got that day. Like, ooh, Shadowless. Ooh, first edition. Ooh, hollow. Um, I miss that. I miss looking at pretty things. Not that Dashy's not pretty. Dashy's the prettiest, but I also miss being able to find, and I could do it on Vivi now, but I miss being able to find stuff that's like stupid undervalued. Like, oh, this is. I mean, everything on Vivi is undervalued, so it's not really that much of a game. Doing it on eBay. I miss the ladies at the post office. We used to talk about Netflix stuff. When I would go ship out the cards, they would. So yeah, I miss a lot. I can't wait to get back in.
oh, lately too, Sean from Comics and Crypto has really gotten me into VHS collecting in real life. Oh
Really?
man, I've been going ham in VHS tapes, and I've been like on the hunt for some sealed like Matrix copies, some copies of like Jurassic Park and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. So he's hooking me up with a Lord of the Rings. There you go.
Who started this? Because I have a friend of mine that's also going through and just collecting VHS and DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like this.
Yeah,
It's crazy right now.
it goes into the whole nostalgia thing again, right? Like your VHS, you remember picking up your Disney VHS and putting that in and watching as a kid for the first time. But yeah, like with I think like a couple of things you kind of learn as you go along when you're collecting VHS. I think it was so like a copy of Cars, for example, like the one that's not in the clamshell version but in the sleeve itself, the paper sleeve. That was the last Disney film that was on VHS. So I think the last one sold at auction for like $8,500,
Wow.
something like that. So
So
yeah,
first-
just get
first
learning
and
about that.
last. Yeah,
Yes.
first and last seem to be really big.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I like to buy series 1 of some of these digital collectible things as they come out, right? So VV's early, like year 1 stuff. I have a whole bunch of that, but why I take it less, unless there's some that I really, really like, because like down the road, like early stuff does well. And we're seeing that with like VHS. We're seeing like old Nintendos, like that were never unboxed, old iPhones, and people have this desire to collect. So they are going back to a bunch of physical stuff. In the future, as you can show off your digital stuff, digital collecting is going to be all the rave, because you don't have to buy a house with more rooms just so you can store everything. So people run out of space to store physical stuff, even if they're passionate about it. So I think there will be this transition for the majority of people into digital collecting over the next 10 or 15 years. And it's going to come in waves. And crypto will push the waves forward that a lot of people will go through. As we go through a bull market, prices, they've got Bitcoin and crypto categorized as dumb. And then all of a sudden when it hits prices, they're like, well, there must be more there than I realized. They start researching it. They realize, oh, I had an improper view of what this all was. This is actually quite amazing. So then they start researching and they gravitate towards the types of things that they're passionate about. And then a whole wave of people find Vivi and Ecomi, and the price pumps like crazy. And You know, all the fudders, you don't see them around anymore because they won't own up to being wrong, and they dump their bags anyway. They just disappear. And then everyone who stuck around was patient, celebrates their wins, and like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Just going to Crazy Dan's comment about the average person is not very smart. Like, I'm not gonna say they're not smart. I think it's the willingness to learn, to discover new things. I think when it comes down to why Apple is so successful is they've made their products so easy to use, and that mass adoption comes very easy to it. You have things like, technically everyone should want an Android because you can customize so many more like different things, right? But the majority of people, like, you know, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your aunt, they're all going to buy iPhones because they're the ease of use. And I really got a feel for that when I used to work at the Apple store, and people would come in and they'd see their new iPad or new iPhone. They wouldn't want to touch it because like, oh no, I don't want to break it. I'm like, no, it's really easy. Just do this, this, and this. And I feel like Vive's kind of done that too. And then I almost kind of compare that to the customization you can do with iPhone and being able to transfer interoperability with some stuff the same way NFTs, whereas Vive is just easy credit card purchase from what you're familiar with, right? So
that goes really well into this comment that I didn't get a chance to put on. This is by Alex in Crypto. He says, although personally I kind of feel like Vive should stick to one niche, movies and series, but if they plan to be the Walmart or Amazon, they have space for more niches. So it plays into that, you know, they're going to be able to do a lot of different verticals and a lot of different things.
Yeah, agreed. Come for one thing, stay for the rest.
Yeah. And Lori, earlier you were asking me if I got something else coming in. I do have this thing I just bought on eBay that I'm really proud of. It's a world premiere ticket for the Taylor Swift, like a world premiere at the AMC theaters. It like happened 4 days before the actual release worldwide, and so she was there, and it was like less than 2,000 people. So people were destroying these tickets. I got like a really nice mint one. So it's coming in the mail there for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tickets.
Yeah.
You guys know David, you I think has 2 or 3 warehouses, right? David, you has 2 or 3 warehouses full of digital collectibles. So physical collectibles, not digital.
Yeah. See, I wish more tickets were digital. Like, to me, that would be a quick bridge in my mind. Like, because, you know, so many physical tickets have meaning connected to them, you know, concerts, sporting events, etc. And how many people have different tickets somewhere in their house, or like you said, have thrown them away. It would be so, like, almost like a picture, you know, how you can go back on your phone and it'll show you memories. You can go back and look at your tickets. I don't, you know, I would really.
That's a great. Well, Laura, as you say, till recently there was no blockchain, right? So they couldn't really have a good way of authenticating those tickets that they were real, not just a random picture. So that we've got the technology now. So maybe Vive could be the tickets.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I just, can you imagine, you know, Super Bowl, you know, your Super Bowl ticket with your, I mean, that would just be so cool to have those in digital format. Now, I'm not saying get rid of the paper, you have to, but you know, all kinds of shit happens to your physical tickets. You know, I don't know.
Wasn't there like a really big sale of the Walt Disney ticket for the first person to enter like Disney parks or something like that? They had like a 0001 ticket, and that sold for a ton. And I know like the grading companies like PSA and Beckett and stuff, they grade that as well. So they'll put that in a slab and give it an authentication tag.
And David was stealing everybody's Disney tickets because it was the last year they were going to be printing physicals. We didn't even get a physical. We had them, but like we didn't have an NFT. We had like a scan it at the park kind of thing, you know? So I guess they actually, you know, had the paper ones. And
it just makes sense that it's going to go digital too, because like I don't know if you guys caught it in the Apple Vision Pro commercial, but there was like people watching the NBA game from courtside in their AR or their Apple Vision Pro. Like I'm imagining UFC fights like without the cage in the way, like you're going to be like right above the ring or right in the ring with them, right? Like that would be
cool.
Amazing.
That
Yeah.
would
Oh, that'd
be
be amazing.
Yeah.
So, Mark, have you used VR much?
I have the Quest 2.
This one,
I'm
yeah.
gonna sound old, but when I do any of those games that you move around, I do get like motion sickness, which kind of sucks. Like it's I think it's
That's
the
being fixed a little bit. It's because of the
has
low
it?
frame rate mostly. It's mostly because of low
Hmm.
frame rate. It messes your brain because you're used to moving around, and we got like 200 frames a second,
Yeah.
roughly in our eyes. But this, I think Quest 2 is around 90 hertz, but I think the
Okay.
Quest 3 is up to 120 hertz now, so we're starting to get a lot faster. Um, and then obviously it's a faster processor, so it'll have less lag. So it needs to then run at 120 frames a second to keep up 120 hertz. So when you get those two on par, and everything gets high quality, like so Apple Vision Pro's, I think even higher than that.
Yeah.
It'll get to a point where you won't get that motion sickness, or a lot less.
Yeah, I'd have to try it again with the Quest 3 because I think for me it's like not the frame rate, but the act of your body staying still in one spot and then you using the controller to move yourself forward. Because I can play Beat Saber fine, I can play all these games fine, and then it's when I switch over to VR chat because I wanted to try that with like the Orange Bag Lady crew and everything. I just got like sick right away. Like I felt like throwing up.
There's a disconnect, right? Your
Yeah.
body knows the only way I normally move around is by moving my legs, and now I'm something
Yeah.
like teleporting, so it
Yeah.
doesn't quite feel right.
Oh,
But
so that's why in Harry Potter when they teleport, that's why they get sick because their minds aren't used to it.
really,
Yeah.
Well, I'm
that's
guessing.
accurate.
I don't know.
That makes
I'm just
sense.
connecting the
That
dots
makes
here.
They have a workaround, Mark. You can get these platforms.
The
Have you seen them?
treadmills?
Yeah, there's 360-degree ones, like
Yeah,
round
yeah,
ones.
yeah. I think you
And
wear
so
like
they
slide pads on your feet and then it
they
slides
like
around.
they hold up at your hips and stuff, so that you can just like fully rotate around.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, I
then
saw
you
that.
can just run around, and your body will probably be fine of it.
Yeah.
I still feel like, they're going to have, they're going to have to be light and they're going to have to be affordable before we really get the mass adoption. I mean, just bottom line, unless they start, working the glasses in like they do on a phone, like when you get your iPhone on a plan, the heavy ones, as they get better, it's just going to get so much, I don't know, so much easier.
The Ray-Bans are a really good start because
So much easier.
I went to get new glasses not that long ago and they had Ray-Bans as an option to get like prescription lenses on, right? So they just integrate seamlessly into my life if,
Wow.
that works out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I've asked this question before. I think Laurie is the only one who said yes, that should get the Neuralink in her head.
Oh yeah,
Anyone else?
I'll get that.
I'm not going
Wow.
to be an early adopter of that. I will let other people.
Mark, what about
Yeah,
you?
no,
What do you
I'm
think
gonna
about
have to pass
it?
on
Yeah,
that as
okay.
well.
So we got top versus bottom here. All the ones
Yeah.
at the top, we don't want it. No
Yeah,
chip for us.
if Bill
I
Gates
just-
has any hand in developing that, I don't want it.
I think the thing that scares me is like tech gets outdated very quickly. So do you have to have a surgery every time you need like a new chip or something put into your
There
head?
have to be like a clinical trial and
Yeah.
efficacy and all that. I mean, come on.
I think they're putting it in humans this year. I think maybe it's happening now, or
So like maybe 10, 15 years down the road.
I'll do it right
what
away.
I would do instead. Have you guys seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
They had like two like magnety things you put on your head here. You just put them on, and you can take them off, so it's not invasive, and that put you into like a VR world. We
Well,
have something like that.
Already, they're really not that invasive. Like when they've done it in pigs and they've taken it off, they've shown no loss of anything.
No, Randy, I'm pretty sure many pigs died for the ones that worked. I don't know.
As an
Can you send me a
alternative.
link to that?
Yeah,
I feel like
I can try and find the data. I'm pretty sure.
I feel like people, if they
left.
found out that a whole bunch of pigs died for that, there would be mass like.
No, I
uprising.
think some handlers that worked with Tesla there, or sorry, whatever, Neuralink. I think they actually left and they've shared some of their.
I really would like to see that then.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's great.
Once a show, you guys do this to me. Last week it was Randy putting a sick animal in a cage for hunting
No,
rabbits.
not in a cage. Out of a
in a
cage.
cage.
Out
It
of a
would never
cage.
be in a cage. You don't want to do that, but generally that is what happens. And okay. Anyway, so Mark, over-the-air updates are going to prevent you from having to go into surgery every single time that you have an update. They
but
could just
but
software.
but that's the software though. I'm thinking of the hardware. Like they're like, let's say we get to a point where we're using like let's say Snapdragon processor, and then in like 10 years from now you're gonna have something that's like the new M50 chip from Apple. It's gonna be like 50 times faster. Like there's
I'll
the
get
only way to
surgery every 10 years. That's fine.
Mark, check out this comment. It's from Puddin' Cheeks.
yeah.
That we would put a port in our brain or something.
Oh
or port
man,
somewhere.
there's a thing that I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's by a company. It's called Humane. It's called the AI pin. So it's a
I
pin
just saw
that
it
you
yesterday.
yeah
I
you
saw
wear it on your
yesterday.
shirt.
Yes.
You see stuff on your hand. It projects like a laser kind of thing, and then what you can do is you can walk up to stuff and be like, "Hey, what is this?" And it'll tell you exactly like what it is based on the camera that it's scanning your environment with. So
That's cool.
yeah,
That I was talking about the one. It's a recorder, and you just wear it as a chain, and it records everything in your life. And then if you want to ever access it, you can pay. Like they're retrieving or they're storing just the sound. So it kind of reminds me of that commercial where someone's like, "Did you say that?" And they throw the flag, and you go back and you pay, and you're like, "I told you that I shut the oven off," or whatever.
Laurie, have you seen the Black Mirror episode of that? They
No.
go through like an airport, and every time they go through airports, security go through like everyone's last 24 hours to make sure there's no bomb they put on them or anything like that.
Yeah, I did see that
It-
one.
It's really cool. Yeah, Black Mirror stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
know though. Do you want your whole life, or would you like stick that
Oh,
on your
no.
baby? Like
It's
welcome
very
to Earth,
invasive.
and put it on your baby, and here you
We
go.
got some no
Well,
ways and hell knows over here.
I mean, there's a lot of parents that give their kids phones nowadays, not because they think their kids are like ready or responsible for a phone, but they know they're always going to have it with them. Oh, hey, GPS location. God forbid someone takes my kid. I know exactly where he is, or she is. So, I mean, also part of the thing with recording what you're seeing. I don't know if I should talk about this here.
It was
in that
just
episode.
hearing, I thought, but not
Huh?
seeing. It's just visual.
Oh,
or
okay.
audio.
All right. Never mind. Disregard that. We're good. You're safe.
it's like they said that with their like phones that we have, our memories have gotten way worse, right? Because of our phones. Like our ability to remember stuff is just terrible now. We have like the
How
memory
many
of a
phone
goldfish.
numbers do you know?
I know. I just
Yeah,
know all my
what were you
childhood
guys
ones.
talking about? What were you guys
I
talking
know
about?
that's all I know too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
my grandmother's phone number. Like other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know my husband's phone number.
Because then we don't use it as much, right? It's like we record everything on our phones instead of remembering it. So I can only imagine that if we had a chip in our brain that could record everything, we would not use our brains at all to remember anything.
But then you
Elon
just get
Musk
an extra
says that
hard
we're
drive in
not
there,
cyborgs.
and you
Yeah.
remember it at easy recall, right? You're like,
Yeah.
What is the voice that Iron Man always talks to? That he's like,
Jarvis.
Jarvis, yeah.
Yes.
Jarvis, pull up this and this and this. Ah, perfect. Gosh, memory's gotten better than ever. It's the new Apple hard drive
But
installed in
could
there.
you imagine going to college now compared to when we probably went?
It's
Rain.
insane.
I mean, I can't even imagine now. Like,
College is an outdated institution. Online, you can learn, like in 1 year, everything that you learn in a university in 5 years.
but I mean, even just the ease. What year? Where's this located? What? Like, I don't know. I mean, I grew up with encyclopedias.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
those days, right? And you had to write your report based on that. And then we find out growing up, like the pyramids weren't used to bury all the pharaohs. And half the information in there was just wrong. It was just the best understanding they had at the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I wasn't going that angle, but okay. But I just meant if you ever needed knowledge, you had to.
Get
Now
an
it's so
encyclopedia, and the
easy.
encyclopedia might as well be gospel because it's always right. But now we have like access to so incredibly much information and learning and growth, and I'm
So
excited for this generation because literally, so one of my sons, my wife's son, would watch all these history like shorts that somebody had made. He knew far more about history than I ever dreamed through watching entertaining videos that he chose to watch. And it was amazing. And I was like, why couldn't this be the new school system? He now knows more about history than, my 7th grade teacher could have ever taught me because she was boring. And so they made it interesting. Why isn't this the way education systems are going? Because the amount of knowledge out there is so tremendous. And they say, well, they need to go to school for social interaction. And Elon Musk makes some, or not Elon Musk, Ty Lopez makes some good points about this. Well, they go to school, they actually get bullied and it can destroy their lives. Why are they going to school even?
I have like
that's why I homeschool my kids.
yeah, it's interesting because I have like 2 ways to think about that. I agree that all the information's out there, that you can learn anything you want from home, but again, it comes down to that the willingness to go and learn these things, right? And then you have these TikTok videos I've seen that of kids that are in high school that can't name 3 countries or can't read a regular clock, right?
Yeah.
And you have to kind of know what type of person you are, for that, right? Like for me, I learn a lot better at my own pace than and I like to discover new things myself, whereas I think like my wife likes the structure and having someone teach and learning that way. So I see it both ways.
That's
guys,
really
check out
hard.
this comment. Sorry, really quickly. This is what Elon Musk has said. If we all have, it's a bunch of people Neuralink. There's a bunch of people without it. The people without it are just going to seem like retards because their IQ's going to be whatever 120 versus people on Neuralink have an IQ of 2,000.
There's going to be a FOMO.
It could be very classist because, well, I mean, if it gets super cheap, I guess it won't be. I mean, but at first, all the really rich people are going to get that.
Yeah, all the experimental people will be free, but then if it works, then it's going to be expensive for people.
all the rich people are going to get the firmware update first, so the new information first.
All the rich people, betas for the.
Imagine if you lost your job though, and you're stuck with old hardware, and it's like bugging up, and you keep rebooting every hour. My battery's out.
Day in life, people complain about like good things going to the rich. That's just the way it always is. So make yourself rich. You're in a space that it's possible, although just realize 95% of people don't do very well in crypto. So literally don't do what the 95% of people are doing, and you'll probably end up pretty good.
So, and that's another thing that I feel like school just teaches you to think one way, and it's hard because the teachers, especially the good meaning teachers, the kids that they have that are maybe not gifted, but they're like ahead of everyone else. They can't speed up to cater to them, and they can't slow down to cater to the kids that do need extra help. They have to kind of stay the course. But I think that
they've created a system that is terrible. And the system is, if the teacher's better, can she make more than the bad teachers? No. Can the bad teachers be fired? Almost no.
Yeah.
And so it's a system that doesn't improve, that keeps itself the same. And here's what Randy Weingartner, who leads the largest union in the United States, said: when kids pay union dues, I'll care about the kids. And so she doesn't care about kids, and she's leading the largest teachers union in the world, and they're not trying to keep up. So there's no free market systems in education. On that side of education, there is in this wild west of like YouTube education and other types of education, but a lot of the kids aren't choosing the educational stuff, they're choosing the entertaining stuff. So the future is how to reward education that's entertaining, and allowing that to grow and develop. That would be gigantic. Let all the funds for students in the many different countries, whichever country figures this out first and creates these incentives for people in their country to educate the kids with entertaining other stuff, they will have a massive head start in their population across than any other country, because I don't think it's going to be the US that does that, and it's definitely not going to be Canada. So
they've termed it as well, Rain. It's called Rain. They've termed it. It's called edutainment. And it's amazing because the kids do stay focused because it's fun, but they also learn. And it's like the best way to learn. We don't learn when we're bored. We actually don't learn. Like our brain shuts off. I've just realized we're going for 1 hour and 44 minutes already, guys. I normally wrap this up for an hour and a half. We're just having too much fun.
Mark just makes this so easy to just enjoy.
Yeah, Mark, it's your fault. It's your fault we're here too long.
My bad.
If you guys can spend about 5 to 10 minutes wrapping up, that'd be awesome. Any final parting words from which way you want to go?
Yeah,
Ray to Mark,
I'll go first, right? I'm never shy. So, like, the truth is, we're in the crypto space, and you're here. I came here for the investment. I know some of the VV community did not. They came here just for the fun, which is a very good reason to be here too. It's probably feeling like less fun than it probably will in a year. That's part of it. But the investment side is fascinating to me because when I grew up pretty poor, and I didn't like the options you have when you're poor. So I studied becoming rich, and I realized that most of the people that become rich, they made it themselves. They didn't inherit it. 80% of the people that are wealthy were self-created, and so that anybody could create that, but only if you do the things that the rich people do. So then my next quest is, what do the rich people do that poor people don't? And they think about things differently. They do very different things than what normal people do. Normal people run around like chickens with their heads cut off when they're involved in some kind of market, like a crypto market that has massive volatility. And that's not how you make good money. How you make good money is learning to sift through the FUD, looking for legitimate arguments on why something might make it versus not make it, getting an understanding of why businesses succeed versus fail, and investing in those when everyone else doesn't believe in them, but you see something special in it, that it will, in learning along that process. So I like to think of it as becoming a savage early stage technology investor, which is really the space that we're in. And savage in that you don't care what some fodder says because their arguments are dumb, and you're able to analyze their arguments and realize how weak they are, and it doesn't phase you. And that's honestly not what 95% of the crypto space does. And so, yes, people run around, they call me a perma bull on OMI or Veve and stuff, and I just laugh. They called me that on Cardano. Cardano went over 100x. They called me that on Axie Infinity when, there were 4 different points where it was very scary that the project would probably fail. And I had to acknowledge that it might fail from here, but no way I'm selling. And then it went absolutely crazy. It became one of the biggest things in the crypto space. Will OMI do that? Probably, but I don't have a magic crystal ball. I'm just playing the odds. And that's what I think the odds are. Good place to be in the crypto space. OMI is a great place to be, in my opinion, but each of you needs to make your own decision and then watch how it unfolds. Cool. So some people like to argue with me. I say, why argue? Let's see in 12 months. Let's see in 18 months. You think something else is a better pick? Tell me what it is. Perfect. We'll compare how things do. I'm pretty happy with the picks I've made.
Mark?
Sweet. Yeah, I guess like for me, parting thoughts, I think just it's important to we're in kind of like an echo chamber on Twitter with the same amount of people going back and forth with each other at all times, whether you're bullish or you're fudding. Like, it's important to kind of do your own research and look into that. Like, I think it's important to also, the people that you're listening to, you got to look at their track record too, and how long they've been in the space and how well they understand it. Like people like Crypto Rain, I really respect because he's been there and he's done it. He's spoken with his own money, and he's proven that, the track record that he has is good. And yeah, just I think like it's important to remember the vision that OMI and Veve have for the future, and then make your own decision based off of that. And yeah, like the FUD is not always bad. There's some people that make some points that are legitimate, and you can look at that, but you can also remember to look at the good that's happening as well.
Awesome.
As far as talked before about pressing advantages, and again, even if you don't listen to me, you got Rain, you got Sleeping Commons just made a video. Anyone really on this panel, I think, older, smarter, and more experienced. Don't listen to me, that's fine. But the thing that I can tell you that worked before Veve and OMI, before Tesla, just what kind of got me here is just work very, very hard as you can. And maybe that's not, some people have more energy than others. Some people are like, hey, I need a nap after, like 10 hours of work, whatever. And your advantage is something else that's, making content, whatever it is. I think working nonstop, and maybe don't do it till you get sick, but find out where your limits are, especially if you're young. Because if you don't, you might have to figure out, hey, I need to do this when I'm 35, 40, and you realize, hey, I can't do it. There's not much there. Find out where your limits are now, even if you think you don't need to. It's better to raise capital when you don't need it. It's better to find out where your limits are when you don't have to. and that'll be my advice for tonight.
Awesome. Great advice. Queen Vivi, what's your parting
Yeah.
words?
Well, I would agree with what everyone did have to say, and just reiterate: be patient and be kind to one another. And we are also wanting to get out that we are still running the Queen's Court charity. So we are auctioning off an unredeemed Veve OG logo version 1. So anybody who has not bid and is thinking about bidding, please send me an email, queenscourtcharity@gmail.com. And that also includes lunch with Alcon if you are in New York with a couple friends. So that's all I have.
Awesome.
And it's for
Well,
charity,
thanks-
so dig into those
It
pockets,
is.
people.
It is for First Responders Children's Foundation. Thank you, Randy. I didn't mention that.
awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, Queen Vivi. Everyone, make sure you check that out if you're interested in a gold and silver Vivi logo. Unredeemed, right? So we don't know what number it is. It could be
Redeemed.
something
It's
good.
Yeah.
it's fresh out of It's
10% chance of being a sub 100. It is a tax write-off. I don't believe there's any reason not to do that. I think there's all the good reasons. Lori, it's up to how much again?
It's a silent auction, Randy.
I know.
Alrighty. Well, thanks so much for coming, guys. Make sure you check out my merch store, omimoon.com, if you're interested in that. We've got Crypto Rain's course, Crypto Heroes. And we've got, check out Mark. Mark, you've got a YouTube channel, is that right?
I do. I haven't been very active on it, but my job in real life is I film weddings, and so I've been doing a lot of editing for that. So now that wedding season's kind of wrapped up, I'll definitely try to get back on that YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Do
So
it.
yeah, check out Mark's channel, Randy's channel, Rain's channel, and check out Queen Vivi's Twitter. All right, take care, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
See you guys.
Hi, Dashy.
Bye.